just going to run this into the ground, aren't you?
Yes, Lou, we are just getting started. Welcome, everybody.
Yes, I screwed up.
Lou screwed up. And we are back live. Valley Girls, Beth Daigle.
Hello again.
Musing Mediterranean.
Yes.
Okay. All these people were watching the other day, and no one said there was no sound. So, you know, all my fans out there, all the lookers, especially my friend, Mr. Adams.
Kevin,
Can you let us know right now if we have sound? Or Joseph Pelletier?
I just checked it.
Okay, so we have sound.
That was the thing. There were people that I know who are on. And
So he is watching.
Yay!
Hey, Kevin.
Hey!
And when people I know who are friends of mine are watching the show, I get a notification like everybody does. You know your
Right.
friends are on. And there are people coming on and off, and
Right.
nobody said anything.
Oh, my God. But we're back.
But I screwed it up.
That's okay, Lou. Anyway, it was really important for us to do this again, and Beth and I do not need an excuse to get together
True.
or talk.
Always.
And look at how fabulous Lou felt so bad.
I did.
He bought me some Bailey's Minis.
A little La Crema.
Again, 400 milliliters for less than the 375.
Wow.
So it works out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If I
Cheers,
had one
girl.
of these right now, I just did yoga, I would be under this cheap ass table that they call a studio.
That's called Bailey's Analytics.
Nice.
So anyway, Valley Girls, welcome. Sponsored by Merrimack Valley Magazine. This is our amazing guest, my good friend Beth Daigle,
Thank you for having me again. Thank you, Lou. Hi, everybody.
who is a published author, who just came off like a plethora of shows.
Right.
Howard Stern, Ellen DeGeneres, The Today Show.
And the only show I want to be on, the one and only, Andy Cohen
I was gonna say
Live.
this one.
Well, this one, I'm here. Andy Cohen Live. I will run the bar.
I
Andy
know.
Cohen, if you hear me.
Yes, let's send
Bring
it
me
to him.
on.
And please, everyone, I'm going to say this a million times today. Beth is having a book signing on Tuesday night at Helen Thomas, which is an amazing gift shop in Andover,
Right.
90 Main Street, from 6 to 9 p.m. Please come, meet Beth, meet me, meet Leslie, meet Lou. She's going to be signing books, and we're going to be chit-chatting. There's going to be Italian wine and a couple of little appetizers.
Yes.
And it's a great place to be and hang out, and we'll just have a blast. So thank you, Lou, for putting that up there right now.
Fun excuse to get out on a Tuesday night.
I feel really
You should
weird.
style for me Tuesday night.
Okay.
Oh, I
Should
like
style
that
my
idea.
appearance.
Good idea.
You're going to have to send me pics because I'm going to be at a shoot.
You're going to be at shoot.
I'm going to be at a shoot. So you send me pics like, should I wear this? Should I wear this?
yes.
And I can tell you.
I have like 12 shirts and a couple pairs of jeans.
That's right.
Basically what's going on.
I've done that before, and she's been amazingly helpful.
Like on a text.
Yep.
Like ditch this. Put that
Right.
on.
This isn't working.
Yeah, I'm going to bug you during a shoot.
Scrap the shoes.
Am I going to put the volume down from this little thing? In
You can, yes. You're number 4.
Or number 4?
No, from the blue box right in front of you there.
Oh, okay. Number 4.
Oh, okay.
If you'll-
No, over. You're
Too
number.
loud for you over there?
No, you're number 4.
Which one is that?
See where it says 4?
No, I have my glasses on.
This is the one far left.
Oh my God. Okay, talk.
Is that better?
Oh my God, so much better. Thank you. I'm sorry about my hair, everyone. I just went to yoga. It's wet. You can see my grays. And my fabulous little height thing got squished by the.
You look like Snooki.
Great.
I wanted to hear. Listen, bring it on a Sunday night. That's all right.
So I know everyone's anxiously awaiting my diary excerpt, but we're going to talk about a few things about books, Beth and Beth's book beforehand.
Okay.
Because Beth had a little gathering,
I did.
and I was lucky enough to attend it.
Yes, thank you for coming.
All right, the first question I have to ask about the gathering.
Yes.
Who made the cake? You had,
That
you had a book cover cake.
It was insane.
This
I
is the
did.
first
that was
one I've ever seen.
That was a surprise. So this was a small friends and family gathering that I did, a pre-launch, if you will, especially for my family who's part of the book,
Oh,
and I really
totally.
wanted to have them there in kind of a more intimate setting. So anyway, my sister and my husband coordinated to get that cake from Frederick's Pastries, which is one of my favorites. They have a location in North Andover
Yes.
and one in Bedford, New Hampshire, which is where my sister happens to live. And we're big fans of their cakes anyway. but wow,
I
they
mean,
knocked this
intricacy.
out of the
I know.
park.
I couldn't believe it, and it was as fabulously tasting as it looked.
I'm imagining some cake work. I'd come into work. Go, I got to do what?
I know. I can't
Where
even
did they
fathom
begin?
it. Exactly. I have no idea, but it was an unbelievable version of the book cover, and it really was delicious. No lie.
I know. Well, I have Invisalign now. I know. It was braces or Invisalign, so I can't eat. I can't just like pop them out. One day on my show, I'm going to pop them out though and see how crazy it is.
Got to do it.
And then if you eat, you have to hurry up and brush and floss. So it's easier just not to eat until you get
right,
home.
Right.
I was so hungry by the time I left. I grabbed. Remember, I said I need the baklava.
Yes. Yes.
She had the baklava there.
Uh-huh.
Do you like baklava, Lou?
I think so.
Oh, Lou, like phyllo dough and
Nuts
it's
and
just-
honey.
I think so,
A
yeah.
little lemon.
It's
I
amazing.
haven't had
good.
one in 100 years. But
Oh.
I grabbed that with 2 napkins, and everyone saw me, and I didn't care. I looked like my father-in-law at a wedding. Shoved it in my pocketbook.
Oh my gosh.
The kid, I
Oh, you put it in your pocketbook. I love it. I
don't care.
love it.
ran home. I couldn't wait to take the Invisalign off.
Yeah.
I get home, and my family's waiting at the door. Mom, we have raccoons in a tree.
Oh no.
I said, I don't want to hear a thing right now. I have to eat this baklava. Like they were like, no, Mom. There's a family of babies, and the whole neighborhood is like freaking out. And
Oh,
there's
my God.
the mother's running around the neighborhood, rabid. We think. I said, taking my Invisalign out, and I'm eating this
Right.
baklava.
First things first.
I knelt down. I was like, Who made that?
That's a great question, and I believe the chef at the Country Club did. But I need
Really?
to ask that question because you're not the first person to ask. It was exceptional.
It was. I've
And
had a
Lou-
lot of baklava.
Lou, I'm going to promise you some baklava on Tuesday night.
Okay, excellent.
So, folks, baklava will be in the house.
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Definitely, there'll be. Do you need me to bring anything?
No,
Just
bring
myself?
your beautiful self.
My tips.
Absolutely. Travel fashion
What?
tips.
My travel
Oh, okay.
tips. Fashion tips, travel tips. You know, I wanted to ask you, since I have to come up with tips, and I do have
Yeah.
some. You went for 14 days.
Yes.
Which is daunting thinking about packing.
Yes, it was.
So I know you were very anxious, and the story talks about how anxious you are.
Right.
But how did you go about packing? Because we love clothes, we love shoes.
Right.
Did you really narrow it down, and did you use every outfit to the end?
I believe on that trip I did use all of my outfits. However, I am an overpacker to
Me
a
too.
fault.
Me too. And I want to give
I
people
just
tips, but I
recently went
overpack.
away and it was disgusting how many things I had that I didn't use.
I know.
So I'm not good at it, but in this case I was good at it. 2 weeks, it's impossible. You
'Cause you
can only
had to
pack
be.
so much. You know, I'm
Did
not
you
a
do-
real housewife. I can't pack like 6 pieces of luggage.
And then yell at people to unpack them for you, like Ramona.
oh my God.
She's like, I don't want to carry this.
I was so thrilled when nobody would unpack
help her.
anything. The last
I have a
episode.
travel packing tip for you. If
Sure.
you can't carry it on, you don't need it.
Oh, Lou.
No.
That's absurd. I mean, it's absurd.
2 weeks.
Can I get just like, first of all, the amount of product I need just
Yeah,
for my
Walmart's and
hair.
Greece.
She
I
has
can't
a
put that.
walk-on for her hair products.
I can't carry those on. It's illegal. Those have to go in underneath.
Were you going
So-
where there were no stores? Anything like that?
No, everywhere we went, we had access to
Yeah.
things. But I'm not going to do that. I need special things.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
have that in Greece and Italy.
So did you have just one of those one big ass
Yes.
rollers?
Yes.
Did everyone just have one
Yes.
big ass roller?
Yes.
And then a carry-on?
Correct.
Okay. So how about when you went on these day trips and you were on a bus, but then you ended up on the beach? I was like, were you the one? Everyone's like, Mom, hold my water. Mom, hold my
Right.
cell phone.
That did not happen. No cell phones were on the trip. We had no access when we
Oh.
were there. So that was fabulous. The kids were young anyway, so
I
they
know.
weren't as reliant back then.
True.
But
like,
we,
did you know what you were doing from each day to
We
say, I'm going to
did.
grab my bathing suit and a towel?
yes, we did, and it was strange. Like in one of the last ports in Naples, we did have exactly that. We were gone for the day.
Yep.
But we ended up stopping at a beach.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember why we had all of our things, but our travel guide must have told us pack
Right.
a bathing suit, because this was an unexpected stop, and it was because we couldn't, with traffic, get to Vesuvius, which is where we wanted to go in Pompeii.
The volcano,
Never saw
right?
it, which was so disappointing
You were
for
so
me.
disappointed.
I really wanted to see that, but the traffic was too bad. We wouldn't have made it back to the Shep. So instead, we just diverted and went to this little off the beaten path
Beach.
like town beach. So we were amongst the
locals.
Italian people. It was awesome, but we had bathing suits.
Okay.
I know.
So they told us.
I don't understand the concept of packing a bathing suit. Either you're
Yeah.
wearing a bathing suit or you're not.
Well, you're not gonna. But
You
they
don't get it changed,
I
right?
know, but
they were doing so many different things
Yeah.
during the day.
it's a long day to
I know,
be in
but
a
do you
bathing
get the
suit.
change at the beach?
We did. There was a bathhouse, so we all changed.
I would have changed in the van. I wouldn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, but there were changing rooms.
I would have said, "Everyone, look, turn around."
Yeah.
But I'm putting my bathing suit on now.
I'll tell you, that was
Too bad.
that was an excellent dip in the water, because we were
remember-
hot. It was a long day, and we were ready, and we totally enjoyed it.
I mean, I have to show everybody the book. It's called Musing Mediterranean. After reading this, first of all, it was such a joy reading it, knowing Beth.
Thank you.
I felt like I was with her family and with her on this trip, and I was so excited. I was like, oh, going to Rome tomorrow.
Right,
I
right.
put my bookmark in. I'll go in here, and I felt like I saw the places. I felt like I was with them. I understood the humor. It's such a great read for the summer or any time of the year. But at this event on Thursday night, I could pick out, I hadn't met any of her extended family except for her husband. I literally picked out everyone in
Oh,
my
that's
mind
great.
from reading this
are you
book.
serious?
I
love that.
nailed it.
No.
I said to this woman I met, is that her sister in the blue dress? Yes. That's her father, obviously, and
Right,
mother. Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Bob was talking to Tony.
Right.
And then
Oh, that's
Alex,
funny.
and her, I just
right.
could tell that was your niece and
Right.
nephew.
Right.
So, I mean,
I love
that's
it.
pretty amazing.
Oh, that's excellent.
And
yeah.
the father is just, I need to just interview him.
He is kind of
Character.
hilarious. Yes.
Like, he was kind of like, even his outfit was like a 70s vibe.
Well, that was actually a shirt. It was a peasant
was a
Greek
peasant,
shirt that he
yes.
got in Greece. So
Okay.
we got that at the Plaka in Athens.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which
And
is
so
even
And
funnier.
then he said to me, "That's what I'll wear." And I said, "Fabulous.
totally.
Perfect, Dad. Wear it."
I know,
Yeah.
and he was so cute, and your
He
mother
is
was so
cute.
cute, and I mean, it was just great putting them all together.
I'm
Without,
so glad.
After reading the book,
I hope that other people will want that too, and maybe we'll have some sort of public outing with my parents and my sister.
can you imagine? Remember we talked about having a book signing, and it would just be me outside of Barnes and Nobles. Remember, with like this table, we're gonna take this freaking rickety table outside of Barnes and Nobles,
Yes.
and I will be there. Beth Dago signing today. Anyway,
You make
she's
me laugh so
signing
hard.
Tuesday night at Helen
Yeah, no,
Thomas.
That's really not far from the truth.
And no, she will be there on Tuesday night.
I mean, I will
No, I
be.
mean, book signings, that's pretty much what it is.
I know,
Right.
right.
But can you imagine if I mean, I feel like
Doing
you
book signings outside of the Fu King Chinese restaurant in Cooperstown.
No kidding.
you did.
God damn.
Really?
Lou, we're going to Cooperstown next week.
Are you?
Or the week after.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to do. Remember, I said Niagara Falls.
Oh, right.
We're going to go to Cooperstown and then Saratoga.
You understand Cooperstown is not on the way to anywhere.
Yeah, but it's not bad. You go like this.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Is
No.
it bad?
Harry wants to see it, clearly.
You're in
No.
the ghost town
Who
part
wants
of
to go
upstate
there?
New York.
Well, I thought it would be like a great thing for Bill and Harry.
For Bill and
Cooperstown.
Harry, yeah.
Oh, no, you got to see it. If you haven't seen it, you got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
But
Hall of
it's the middle of nowhere.
Can we do it in like an afternoon and just sleep there and then leave the next morning?
Yeah.
It's not like there's a million things to do in Cooperstown.
Where are you going to sleep, though?
They have beautiful inns.
Yeah.
I looked.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because there's Oneonta, there's an inn there that's really nice. There's some really expensive inns if you
Oh.
want to go that way.
I tried.
Yeah.
They were like $650 a night for a
Yeah.
double bed. I was like, okay, never mind.
I'm moving this today. I want to see what people comment.
There's,
Yes.
There are expensive inns and then like motels from The Shining.
Okay, yeah.
Kevin
I don't-
says hi. He says, I see anything. No video.
no video.
You're watching the video, so he's just giving us a hard time.
Oh, I hope so.
Is he giving us a hard time?
You're watching it, aren't you?
I guess.
Okay.
Okay. We came here last week to tape a show, but Lou had no sound. Anyway, so when we were here,
Because I can't afford to buy you guys liquor.
next is dinner.
I was just going to say, and a fancy dinner at that.
When we came here last week, we met an amazing gentleman who is leaving, and I don't know his name, Lou. He has a show.
Yeah.
And he said the nicest thing to Beth, because
He
this
did.
is huge. He said, this is probably
That's Tim Wood from Loop Weekly in Methuen.
so difficult to do. So you have to be proud.
Yeah, thank you.
He said, 99.9 people want to do this.
Right.
Writers want to do this. They don't get to do it. This is in print. It's on Amazon where you can buy it and read all the fabulous reviews that are already up. And it came to fruition.
Yeah. I feel great about that.
And when the box came to your house, is that what happens?
It is what happened. So,
And did you know it was the books?
yes, I mean, there was
you
no
a heads
doubt
up?
about it. So I knew that they were coming, and I knew the amount to expect. So when they showed up, I knew it would be them. And
Were you
yeah,
by yourself? Was everyone
actually,
waiting?
they arrived with my youngest daughter home first, and she let me know they were there, and she already opened the box and pulled one out. So.
Were you okay with that?
Absolutely. She has run of the house. She gets to do whatever she wants.
Allie.
Yes.
When you're holding your first book in your hand, that is a special moment.
It
isn't
felt good.
That's
It
a
felt
I
really good.
know. I feel really good just holding her
Yeah.
book in my hand.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You know, it felt good, and I think it's a feel-good book. So
Yes.
it's meant for people to kind of have that takeaway moment. I'm calling it the Calgon of books. It's take me away. So,
and
you know.
describe the new literature that they're calling it an uplit.
Yeah, so uplit. So it's uplifting literature, which is
Okay.
a more positive spin. And there's so many, tough reads out there that are focused on violence, depression, tragedy,
And not that you don't
divorce.
respect those.
They're great, but I think we need to go
Insert
toward a
these.
little positivity
Yep.
in a lot of different ways. We're at a time and in the world where I think people are looking for that,
Right.
and that's why this uplit trend is kind of catching on.
I love it.
Where you want to have books that create a positive feeling when you're done, and
not unrealistic. Like, it's not like you weren't saying that this wasn't stressful or it wasn't hard at different
Right.
times, and you weren't feeling spoiled. You were just being like, appreciate the family when you have them,
Right.
and the times.
Right.
And another part of this book is that Beth was really anxious before she left.
Right.
You had a real anxiety about travel.
I have a lot of anxiety about travel. I still do. It kind of comes and goes. So
Which a lot of women and men can relate to, which
Yeah.
is another thing that I love about the book.
yeah,
So is the self-battle a large part of the book as opposed to the travel? Because that's a really compelling aspect to this, that you have to fight your anxieties. And,
It's the beginning. It
It's the
weaves
beginning.
its way lightly through the middle, and I wrap it up there with how my reaction to a potential new trip. And I think that is exactly how it is for me. Once I get to a place,
She
I'm
was
fine,
good.
and I can kind of leave it behind and immerse myself in whatever it is I'm doing. But then when I start to get closer to going back home and getting back on the plane, it really
Rears its
starts to
ugly head
ramps up
again.
again. But what I also talk about in this book too is my travel anxiety isn't just about getting on a plane. It's the most of it. That is what is the most severe part of
Yes.
my anxiety. But there's
It's a
other
little
anxi-
minutia in there too.
I just, I like having a routine.
I know.
The idea that I have to pack and what am I going to forget and
And we are in charge of our other family members. At least I am.
Right. So, and some of that sounds, I think, a little ungrateful.
I know what you
It's
mean.
not about that.
No.
I'm very grateful. I feel very lucky to have the opportunity to travel the world, but there are things that kind of creep up on me
And
that
some
kind of
people-
get stuck in my head.
I admire. They're like going to Bali, and I'm going here, and I'm just going to take a backpack, and I'm like, oh,
Effortless.
effortless, and they enjoy it, and they don't worry
know.
about where they're going to sleep.
I know.
And I worry about everything.
All of it. I'm
And
a worrier.
I don't
I'm a
want to
worrier.
be like that. I want to take the life by the hands, but
Yeah.
your anxiety is so real for so many different people.
Yeah.
The plain thing for me is I don't worry about anything like that. But I probably worry about the littlest things that
Right.
I can't control.
Right.
So whatever it is, it's still debilitating for you.
Right.
You know?
I think the plain thing for me, it's big, it's crippling. In terms of my presence of mind, it consumes so much of my energy before a trip, and leading up to our trip home, I tend to kind of check out of what I'm supposed to be immersed in, and that is what troubles me the most
So
about
you're like
it.
doing things, but you're really thinking about the plane.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm like, it just starts to.
Did you ever go to
creep
therapy
up on me?
for it?
No, I haven't, and I really should, probably. But I cope with it.
I'm just
It doesn't
curious.
stop me. That's the problem. I think if it stopped me and
Yeah.
I couldn't get on the plane physically, it would be a different story.
And if you couldn't do all the daily things that you do now.
Right.
Because when I was pregnant with Hannah, I got anxiety so bad that I wasn't functioning the way
Right.
I should.
Right.
And I was like, okay, sign me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the anxiety is a funny piece of it, but it's a smaller piece of it.
Right.
I do talk a lot about the destinations, and I really want this to be a book that people can read and either get ideas to say, "Ooh, if I go, I'd like to see
I
these
would just
places
call
and these
Tony.
things."
If people could call Tony and just get the itinerary.
He's the quintessential planner. But I also feel like if people have already been and people have read it and have already said it brought me right back, I felt it was so nice to
I know.
relive those memories when I was there.
All right, if I were going to ask you your most pleasant surprise, the thing you didn't expect to really love.
On that trip, that's a good question, Lou.
That you didn't expect to love so much. I might be able to answer that for you. No, I'm kidding.
That's a great question. Honestly, I think it may be the fact that I so enjoyed being with my family that I was worried about that. That was another part of what I worried about. Would we get on each other's nerves?
Oh, yeah.
Would it be too much time? But we really did make it work. And I threw in a few tips here and there that if you're, what you might want to consider if you're on a family trip.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but the respect that they all had for one another to be able to say, I'm going to do this, and it's not like
Right.
your sister's like, what do you mean you're going to go? They were really respectful, and that's what it is.
Right, and knowing that we weren't going to spend every moment together, that we separated, each family kind of broke off at times. Other times my parents came with us, other times my parents went with my sister and her
Right.
family. It really did work out well. So
And you
Do you
got
think that was conscious among your family? In other words, they're out of there. Everyone's on a trip. Everyone's got their own anxieties to deal
Yeah,
with, and it's
yeah.
kind of all right. Let's pull together and make this work.
Well, it wasn't discussed, I will say that
Right.
much, in advance. We didn't say, okay, now we have
No,
to
but it's part of
obviously
everyone's
plan
thinking,
out, some time away from one another. It didn't work out that way.
I know.
It just
It
worked
happened
out well.
naturally.
It did happen naturally. And I will say, too, having the entertainment for my own daughters who were younger.
Huge.
And they had my niece and nephew who they adore. Made all the difference in the world.
I'm going on a trip. I was thinking about this when you first told them. If you would have said, "Oh, we're doing this with just Daddy and me,"
Yeah.
I don't. Would they have been like 9 and 12? They
Right.
probably would have been like, "Oh, can't we go to Disney?"
Right. I mean, they wouldn't have minded, but it would have been a lot harder once we were there because it was an ambitious and strenuous
Yes.
tour
Physically.
of Europe in those countries.
I know.
So it was wonderful. I wouldn't change one bit of it. But to have just my little girls at the time and no other kids to distract them would have been very
Or
challenging.
their grandparents to take them for an ice cream
right,
or whatever.
Right. Exactly. All of that.
Like when you were on the boat and you had downtime, were they able to take off?
Yes, which was actually one of the first times that I allowed that to happen because we were in a contained ship. But my mind goes through a lot of crazy situations that could happen, and I wasn't entirely comfortable with it. But my nephew was 15 at the time, and he's very
yeah.
responsible.
He's
and I
great.
talk about in the book one scene where he kind of helped me
Yes.
recover Allie when we lost her in one of the ruins. So
In the ruins.
In the ruins. So it happens, and
Because she just took off wanting to find the horses.
she got some memo that nobody else got that there were horses in this ruin.
And she was determined to find the ruins and the horses.
So yeah, but having my nephew there, he was very responsible. So when we'd send them off, I felt okay
Right.
about it.
She had this one afternoon. And I mean, I don't want to give the whole book away, but, she's like, let's just go to the movie theater.
Oh, God.
Me and my sister. We never get to do anything.
Yep.
It's only the two of them in the movie theater.
Where are we now?
We're in the boat.
Oh, on the boat.
So on this particular day, we had actually cut our tour in Turkey short. We were exhausted, so we
Did you cut it? cut it because you wanted to and you had other stuff to do, or was it already planned to be cut short?
No, it wasn't planned to be cut. We had just
Really?
reached our limit when we toured Ephesus, which is the kind of Holy Land ruins.
Yes.
It was phenomenal, but a lot. It was hot as it was the whole time.
So hot.
We had just reached a limit, and we were supposed to continue on to go to some nearby city where we would look at rugs and
Oh, yeah,
and
no.
basically souvenir shopping, and we said no to
No,
that piece.
that
We
was a
went back to
great
the ship,
decision.
and nobody else was on the ship because everyone was still on land touring.
Looking for the horses.
Apparently. And so we went to the movie theater, my sister and I, and everybody broke off again. Brabantoni
Right.
Casino. The kids went to some cupcake
Yeah.
making thing with my
was
mother. My
great.
father, bed. I mean, it was a
Nap.
no-brainer. So my sister and I were left. What do we do? And we decided to go to the on-ship movie theater.
But this guy, the place is empty. This guy comes in, sits right near Beth. There's all these other seats.
Right next.
Planks himself right next to Beth. They're the only two in the theater. I thought you guys were going to just leave.
It was honestly
I'd sit next
Lucy
to
and
Beth, too.
Ethel.
That's true.
No, Lou, it was
You-
ridiculous.
She wouldn't have minded you.
If he had left one seat between us, I
Right.
would have
Yeah,
been
that's a
okay
little
with it.
weird,
It was uncomfortable.
Awkward.
It was uncomfortable.
And the movie you didn't like.
I mean, it was gripping, but there's an example of not an uplit, a downlit. I mean, it
Right.
was. I call the movie disturbing. It
Yes.
was disturbing to me.
Yeah.
It was far too graphic. I can't.
And
handle it.
everyone,
It's just not my taste.
The girl with
Star
the
Wars? What was it?
It was the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know about that story. I thought it was like, oh my God, you got to read it. You got to read it. I never did.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I don't think I'm going to.
It was a lot for me. That's not my taste. It's
Right.
just, I pass no judgment. It's just not my taste.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have to tell you, this was really important for me to tell you. When you described where you were, because you went to so many different things, even like the second, third chapter, I was like, you described things, how can I explain this? In a way that you didn't reuse or overuse adjectives.
Okay.
And which is, you have to understand, she's went to so many different countries in so many different
Right.
areas that everything's amazing. You could say it's amazing, end of book. But she
One of the
just,
toughest things in writing, by the way.
Right.
she described things so wonderfully, but different for everything that I was like, that was the perfect adjective. She didn't use that adjective before.
Right.
That adjective's perfect for that. I noticed that.
That is so nice. I appreciate you taking that time to notice it. That was work, and I actually
That
there was a whole period of time dedicated to that.
Was that second time through? Was that the editor? Because
Lou, how does
my
that come
editor
about?
yells at me.
Yeah.
Just yells at me about that.
About what, using the words too much, like the same words?
Overusing,
Yeah.
Overusing.
redundancy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Something you really had to think about with
One
the
of the many
travel.
things my editor yells at.
It was. I did it. I did a bit of it myself, and then certainly the editors that I worked with, I felt very fortunate.
Yeah.
They are very talented and great editors.
They do
and helped
God's
me.
work. I love editors.
It's hard, but they see things that I, of course, or we as writers don't see, and we just kind of gloss over it. But I also pay attention to that,
Right.
Because I don't like to reuse a lot of the same words. But in a lengthy book, it's
book,
hard not
and
to.
all these things were amazing and so descriptive. You
Right.
had to describe
Right.
the enormity and the magnificentness.
Right. Magnitude, enormity,
All that.
all those words.
but yet,
yes. Gargantuan, I think,
did
worked
you-
its way in there.
Did you try to keep because I'm a conversational writer. Did you try
So
to
am
keep
I.
a conversational tone? So that's tough because sometimes I'll reuse words as tempo and rhythm and conversational.
For
but
sure.
The editor didn't come across that way. It just
Okay.
came as you reusing
Well,
the word.
Lou, I gave you a copy of the book,
I know.
so I do expect that soon you'll be reading and we can have this conversation
she comes on for the fourth time.
All right,
for
stop.
a review.
I screwed up.
That was a huge thing.
That's nice. I'm glad you noticed that.
And your editors, would they read something and go, Beth, no one cares about this?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
so
those exact words were used.
Yeah.
But what was it that they didn't care about? I want to know. What did you write about that I missed out on,
God.
Beth?
I mean, what hit the cutting room floor?
I want to read the cutting room floor.
I have it all. I have all the versions.
Yeah, what's the post-credit scene going to be in the movie?
Oh God! Right? I mean, there could be a lot of
I need to be-
blooper reel would
I
be
need to be a
huge
character in the movie.
for sure.
All right.
Let's see. I couldn't even tell you any specific.
Was it more like
scenes.
you're describing your outfits or describing someone's mood? Like, what would end up on the cutting room floor? Or just more descriptions of the
I
places
think
you were at?
where I went too deep into description and it needed to be dialed back. I definitely remember there were a few scenes that got cut that it didn't break my heart. I'm okay with that. And especially where I am a debut author, I knew I don't have a specialty in this yet. I don't have a voice. But I will say, having gone through this after a number of years, I do have a much better sense of how to do this again.
Right.
And I do plan to do it again. We do
is
have another
great.
trip planned. I like this type of travel writing or experiential writing where I'm experiencing something and I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a fiction writer. That's not who I am.
Right.
But I do know that if I go about my next book in the same kind of way with travel and experiences when we're in Hawaii, which is our next planned trip.
Which I'm going. I told your parents.
Come along.
I told you.
I could do this far more quickly.
Now, your travel journal is what helped you write the book.
Yes.
And do you feel like you're just going to, like that to you was like, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't have remembered half of it?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a strong recall anyway. It's definitely not for specifics. I'm kind of very big picture. So if something had a big impact on me, I'll
Right.
remember it, but I don't remember the detail behind it. So the travel journal was everything.
And then some of it, I'm sure, must have sparked your remembrance of other things
It did.
that you might have forgotten.
And thankfully, too, that I have family members who have amazing memories and specific detail that they could fill in a lot of the blanks.
Oh, good.
So that's
Did you
how that
interview
worked.
them while you were?
Oh gosh, I'd say, do you remember when we did this? Remember something happened? Kind
Right.
of talk me through it. But I also did a very early draft of this book soon after the trip. It was what I called the brain dump. And this book is about, I don't know, 55,000 words or something like that. And it was at least double that.
Oh.
Where I just said everything
Right.
that I could think of. And that's kind of where things started to kind of get whittled down from there. And it was a lot.
It's so much to do.
It's a lot.
Did you ever want to say, I can't, this is just too overwhelming? Because it was 6 years, 5 years.
It was 5 years, but probably 4 years of actually me actively writing, and then we got into editing and then trying to get it published. But I will say, no, it was
Nothing.
strange, and I'm not much of one to stick with something that's a long-term passion project. I usually give up on things pretty quick. I like immediate satisfaction.
Pilates class done.
And even Tony said to me at one point, I can't believe you're still doing this.
I remember saying to you,
Yeah.
this is going to happen.
I said, I don't know. There's something about it. It was calling
your-
to me, and it felt good, and I didn't mind doing it.
Right.
And I wanted to finish it.
Even getting a publisher and an editor
All
and
of
all
it.
that was fine.
It was all part of the mission, the goal.
Oh, you
So
must
I
have
kind
learned
of-
so much.
Oh my gosh, yes, I could do it all very differently and more quickly now. I definitely
know.
gained a lot of knowledge through the process.
That's awesome.
Do you remember a specific moment where you decided, yes, I'm going to write the book? And I know you thought about it for a long time, and everybody, 90% of the people out there think about writing a book, but
Right.
there is a specific moment
Yes.
where they say, yeah, I'm doing it.
It happened on the trip. I had already put a lot of thought to wanting to graduate from article writing with the magazine. So Lisa and I, worked together on Merrimack Valley magazine. I spent many years writing for them, and I had written countless columns and
Yep.
magazine articles on
And your blog.
various subjects. And now I do my blog. Everything is short, 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 and that's how I like to write, kind of straight and to the point. But I had been toying around with, I'd like to go to a book, but I didn't know how to do it. As I said, not a fiction writer. I knew that right out of the gate.
Right.
I'm like, that's never going to be my thing. And somebody had said, what about young adult, the YA genre? You could write a book, speaking to your children
Get
or
a
whatever.
series, make a fortune.
Yeah, I'm like, I said, okay, maybe.
Still wasn't true to your heart.
There was nothing that spoke to me or that I came right up the top of my head, but I was halfway through this trip, had started the travel journal, writing, and then halfway through the trip, the travel journal was full. And I
Was
thought,
it like this?
It was thick. It was a good sized notebook. It wasn't like a diary like yours, but it was a
Right.
notebook. And I had filled it halfway through.
And when did you write?
at night, you're done touring,
Okay.
maybe you're hanging out while everyone's getting ready, or maybe you're
Yes.
just done, but you need to unwind because I didn't have any TV to unwind to.
Which I can't believe.
Yeah, painful for 2
Oh,
weeks.
bravo.
How did I do it?
Honey, I know you did good.
Thank you. But in that moment, I said, "Oh my God, I have so much material from this trip.
This is it.
This could be the book." And then I said, "This is it. This is the book." And that's
Now,
when
I'm
I
going to write
decided.
a book. I have written a book.
I've written a book.
It's
All I
like
have to do is finish it.
It
Yeah.
really happened
Yeah.
organically
It
in the
did.
way you wanted it to.
Exactly.
Yeah, talk about finishing it though, because I'm going through this with my son Raul, who's written
Yeah.
about 2,000 words, 2,000
Okay.
pages worth of books. But he's having trouble finishing, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to get him to the point. Complete the cycle.
Yes.
Just put it down and say it's done.
Right.
Right.
I think if
Was that difficult for you? It's difficult for me. Was it difficult for you?
No, I felt like I kind of know when I've reached my end point with something and that I need to give it to somebody else. So that's exactly how it worked. But I did put a lot of time into that first version. And I just know when I'm starting to mess with it. And especially with the first version, I didn't know what to take out and what to leave in.
Right.
That was key to bringing somebody else in
Yeah.
early. So I said, this is a lot, and I know that you're going to need to cut this, but I'm afraid that I'm going to cut the best parts, which I'm known to do. So
And they tell you cut everything that doesn't hurt, and then cut a few things that does.
right.
that
Well,
does
and there
hurt.
were things that got cut that I thought, ooh,
Yeah.
and there was one thing that I actually kept in. I said, no, I like this. I'm going to keep it in.
Good.
It
What
was
was
the
that?
letter that I wrote to
Yes.
the tour guide in Taormina,
Yes.
Sicily, and I just felt, she said, you don't need to put that note in that you sent him. And I thought
It was a perfect
but
ending
I
to
liked
that
it.
chapter.
I liked it, and so I kept it.
Good for you for standing up, yeah.
I followed almost every bit of advice except I can recall keeping that and making the decision. I said,
Right.
there's something about that I think will speak to people.
Yeah, and it did.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Good, I'm glad. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
think
he was
editors-
fabulous. He was fabulous, that tour guide.
Editors, like, wow, to read other people's work and try to figure out, that must be the hardest job.
They're incredible. I love editors.
But I mean,
Because
some
I
of
don't
them.
want to do that work.
But
I
can you
really don't.
imagine if you really make a crappy mistake on a book too? I mean, you'll never know because either you didn't put it in or you did put it
Right.
in. You know, like how does an editor know his job or her job was successful?
Well, in a way, it's kind of easier for them because they don't have the
Pressure.
They don't have the passion about it.
Right.
In other words, that advice, you probably heard it. Cut until it hurts. And then
Right.
cut a little bit more.
Right.
And they don't have that. They don't have that hurt about them.
Right.
Just, that doesn't belong.
It's not hurting their hearts.
Right.
Right.
Now, but how do they, when they start editing a book, do you think they edit it like if they're not enjoying it, they just say, I can't? Or do you think they're so.
I do think it's personal, which is an important as a writer.
Yeah.
Find an editor that you relate to.
Right.
And that you know is going to appreciate your work.
Right.
And I had the luxury of working with Emily Noel
Yep.
Provost, who I had worked with for many years. She'd edited a lot of my work in the magazine, and I knew she understood my voice, and that's what mattered to me.
Right.
That she knew I was going to be silly and cliche at times,
Yeah.
and that was actually what I wanted.
That's you.
And I had other people tell me you need to be more serious and take out all the
No.
cliches and all. I said, well, that's kind of how I speak, so
I
I
loved
have to
it.
leave some of it in.
Well, again,
of
once you've
course.
decided it's a conversational
Right.
voice, then that gives you license to do some of the stuff that
Right.
you wouldn't do otherwise.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure people go through editors who, be like fighting with your editor.
Right.
You know what I mean? That whole thing.
And the best thing about having Emily start round one with me and get me through that first phase of editing was that she did know my voice. She knew how I spoke, and she knew the people in my life a little bit as well. So she was great getting me through dialogue, which my original dialogue was horrible.
Your dialogue coming out
Well,
of
the
your
dialogue
mouth.
that I wrote in the book,
Right.
the quotes where I have us speaking to one another.
Yes.
My original dialogue was very forced and unnatural sounding, and she said, "You don't speak like that. Why would you put that in quotes? That
Yeah.
you would never say that." So
Like
I had to go back and edit all of the dialogue.
They did they went to Rome the first day and they had a golf cart tour, which
Right.
is cracking me up. Because I remember Rome and I don't know how.
That was crazy.
I don't know how the golf carts just got around.
I don't know either. And in a row, we were all caravanning in busy
And driving.
Rome traffic.
Golf cart convoy?
It was.
Yeah, and
It was
driving
hilarious.
themselves. Some of them, and some
Oh,
people
God.
driving.
It was
But there was
nuts.
this
It was nuts.
episode. It's going to be a pilot.
Right.
There was a scene where a bus almost kills Beth on a golf cart.
God,
But
that's
in the way I'm thinking about your editor now, how you said with Tony, I almost just got clipped, and
Yeah.
then when he turns around, he sees how close the bus is.
Yeah.
I felt that. See, that was
Yeah.
an editor. I don't know if you had said it like that,
Right.
but I knew exactly what you must have felt like and how close that bus must have come.
It was insane.
Like you thought you were going to die.
I didn't. I mean, I almost never think I'm going to die, but I'm like, oh shit, oh, sorry. I can't do that.
That's
But
fine.
I said, I was.
Yeah, you can hear.
I was literally thinking, something's going to happen here.
I know.
Nothing good is coming
Can
of
you
how
believe
close
they
this
don't
bus
have as
is.
many accidents as the way they drive?
I'm curious if they do. I mean, I have no
Right.
knowledge of that. They drive like crazy.
Crazy maniacs.
Yep,
And
I've never seen anything like it.
and did you have the gypsy children try to pocket you?
oh no,
We had a lot of gypsy
really?
people. Yeah, try to just grab our change, and they warned us
In
about
Rome?
it. In Rome and in Italy.
What year were you there?
Oh my God. I met Bill.
Grab your change?
Yeah, just to almost be
Pickpocketing.
Pickpocketing
Oh.
these little gypsy kids. I don't know if they were homeless, but they were called gypsies, gypsy kids, gypsy families.
Well, when were you there? I wonder if they've kind of moved them out.
89.
Oh yeah, I bet you by now maybe they've kind of
Yeah.
put some controls on that because we didn't have that at all.
Because you went to the Duomo, right?
Oh my God, I love that.
We did a photo shoot at the Duomo.
Yes.
When you're Americans and you
That
go
was
over
incredible.
to Europe, and we went over to just take pretty pictures, me and 2 photographers and a hair and makeup person, they'll give you the top models from Rome. They think Americans are here to
Oh,
take the
okay,
pictures.
okay.
They'll give you the Cindy Crawfords. So we had this model. I remember the hair and makeup putting cups in her hair so we could get this high crazy.
Right.
It was the 80s.
Right.
And I rolled up all these gowns from a designer on Newbury Street and got them over to Europe. And we shot in the Duomo with
Oh my
pigeons
God.
all around her. I have to get the photos.
That's incredible. I'd love to see
And
that.
the gypsy people were all around us,
Were all
trying to steal
around.
our change. We didn't have anything to
Interesting.
steal. We were staying in all
No.
those hostels.
Oh gosh.
You were staying in hostels?
Staying in hostels
Well-
and getting the
God.
Italian top models to come out.
yeah.
and
Oh,
model
it
for
was
you.
bad. They were called pensions at the time. And so I remember having our own rooms, like it was 4 of us, so it was like 4 twin beds. And it was very cheap, but then we would have shared bathrooms, but they wouldn't be like toilet paper because we got punished because they thought the Americans were using it too much.
Oh.
So at one point we went to the bathroom and there was no more toilet paper. You get your
Oh,
own, like
right.
you Americans, waste.
You're glutton for toilet paper.
Like we had
It's like a bed and breakfast, basically.
there's a magazine in Boston called Stuff at the time, and they wrote an article
yeah.
about our travels.
Experience. Oh my gosh,
really?
you've got to dig that out. I'm so curious.
And we had like 50 weird things about Italy, like, when they don't give you enough change, if you buy something at the store and they don't have the coin,
Yeah.
they give you candy.
Oh, okay.
Like we were writing those things down, like, okay,
Oh my God.
why are there no shower curtains on any of the pensions we went to?
Yeah.
No shower curtains.
So awkward.
It's just water going out into the hallway.
Yeah.
Like, so anyway, I have to dig it up because
You must. That is good material.
Plus, I got sick.
no.
I got sick. I'm on the train
Should have got extra
station.
toilet paper then.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I went through it all. They were so mad at me. and then this old lady sitting outside of the train in Rome in the bathrooms. I said, I gotta go. And Ray Bertolotti, rest her soul, was the hair and makeup, and she had packed all those little tissues.
Oh yeah.
And because there was a woman sitting there just going like this. Oh. You just got one thing. And then you had to stand there, and she handed me one thing. And I was like, no, honey, you don't understand.
Right.
So Ray gave me all her.
No.
You
And
understand, I'm American.
that was my experience.
That is
No, I think I have
an
a journal
interesting
too.
one. That's huge. That's
You'll
good
have to-
stuff right there.
But I have to say,
You just tore up all your notes.
I know.
You're just so passionate about interviewing and
I
what you're
love you
doing.
anyway.
I love it.
Well, the fight with her sister.
Well, we've done this interview twice, so it should be easy.
Now that time you brought it
Yeah,
up.
that time I brought it up. Yeah.
She talks about her relationship with her sister, which is a fabulous one. But, you know, when you talk about when you were growing up, it's
Yeah.
not like you didn't have a fight.
Yeah, we did, for sure.
And I was laughing so hard at this chapter because she said there was one that ended up, when they were young, with me with a knife and her sister with a rolling pin.
Marble rolling pin.
Who's the younger?
I'm younger.
Oh, okay.
And I was like dying.
Yeah. It was for real.
You had weapons out.
Always.
Weren't you?
Her biggest weapon.
It must have been a big fight, though. You had a knife.
We fought about everything. We were very dramatic.
did?
We were a little dramatic. But I will say we love to guard ourselves with weapons, and we would take whatever we could have in the house. But those were just
Little pawns.
threats.
Yes.
So
But
there was
what
more
wasn't
than
a
one?
threat were her sharp nails. My sister always had nice long nails. I still to this day do not have long nails.
So there was more
Dig 'em
than
in.
one altercation where weapons were drawn?
Oh gosh, yeah, that was a regular thing.
And her parents, they were home by themselves after school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but do you remember
Well,
the time when you morphed into this like fabulous relationship with your sister, or was it always fabulous but you just fought?
No, it wasn't always fabulous, and we didn't really connect until we were in our 20s, weirdly. And I can't
Because
really
you
explain
can
it.
see the connection with you interacting with her. at
Our
the
relationship
party.
now is closer than ever, and I adore her, and she's been the biggest support. So, Carla, I love you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you know, I have to say,
Well, you're not coexisting on a 24/7
I think
basis.
that's what it was. And we were also very different as kids. And
Yeah.
so we didn't know at that time, and like kids today don't know, how to kind of honor each other's differences and embrace them.
Oh, yeah, God,
so
no.
we were very different, and it was, you're different, I'm different.
And that's not good.
That's it.
yeah.
So we're going to do
So I'm going to
different
hit you
things.
over the head with a rolling pin.
And then we just learned to enjoy that.
Yeah. Which is
in one
great.
another.
And I was thinking, I was reading it, and I don't have a sister. I have two brothers, which is fine. But I think that's why I gravitate to my friends so much.
Yes.
Because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I had my cousin, my twin
Yeah.
cousin Linda. If you're listening, she was my sister.
Yes.
But my friends are really,
Yeah.
you know,
I do think having those types of relationships
right.
as a woman
Yeah.
is so important.
because you have your sister for anything.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if I want to talk to a woman, I obviously have my mother, but I'll call my friends.
Right.
That's what you have.
Yes.
You know,
and
and
it's built in, and it's nice.
the fact that they could just all go together. I mean, Bob and Tony get along. I mean, it's really lucky.
Right.
Because there's a lot of families going like, there's hell or high water. Am I going to do this trip?
No way.
And then
Bob
there's-
and Tony were friends before
Right.
Carla and
My
I
family
came
went,
into the
several
picture.
would come back in the cargo hold.
Did Bob and Tony win any money gambling?
Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. And if they did win any, it was insignificant.
Yeah.
Nothing,
Yes.
nothing that caused any excitement.
Right.
But they loved doing
Or
it.
tax
and
reform.
Right.
as I give away in the book, there was something good that came of it. Even though my sister and I thought it was kind
Right.
of foolish.
Oh, yeah.
But
You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a quick break, if that's all right, Lou.
Yes.
Because there's a few things I want to talk about before we exit. And we'll be back right after these words.
Everyone is cashing in on social media, and all marketing roads lead through social media. If you want to make a splash here in the Merrimack Valley, you need to tap in. This is where the new CEM Podcast Studios come in. Of course, you can spend your time, energy, and money learning how to wrangle technology to make a podcast instead of running your business. Or you can invest in telling everyone in the Merrimack Valley, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, the Seacoast, or everywhere in the world about your great business, product, service, or yourself. The CEM Podcast Studio is a local audio and video studio dedicated to the craft of podcasts. Their studios feature state-of-the-art recording and mixing equipment designed specifically to produce the best audio and video podcast. Best of all you need to worry about is your show, your business, and your brand. We do the rest. Call 978-686-9966. That's 978-686-9966 to schedule a no-obligation tour of the CEM facilities and meet with a podcast specialist. Or go to CEMpodcast.com to find out more about podcasting services. CEMpodcast.com, your window to the world.
I don't. 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 I don't.
You want us to do one more? Take two?
I just want to bury this pig. That's probably because I'm sick of hearing
Turn
about
me over.
promos.
Well done.
I'm sick of taking the heat.
All right,
Just
so
do the
listen to
damn
me.
promo.
Why do
You get him in trouble.
You have something to work with. We'll do one more, and then you can... Hi, my name is Tom Zappala.
Hi, this is Michael Mazzo.
Yeah, I talked over you there, so do it again.
Hi, my name is Tom Zappala.
Wait. You gotta wait. Give it a beat and then do it.
Ready? On three. 1, 2, 2.5, 3.
Hi, my name is Tom Zappala.
Hi, this is Michael Mazzo.
The name of the show is The Sicilian Corner, and we are on every Friday from 10 to 12, and we talk about stuff, a lot of stuff, all
kind of
good
stuff?
stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Good stuff.
Good stuff?
I have no idea.
No.
I'll let you know.
You don't
the
know
day
until
before
you walk
show.
in the studio.
Check us out. We love you guys. That's it. Can you make that work?
Yeah, as much as anything ever works on the show, yes.
Isn't he our company?
Don't believe me, just watch.
That would be you.
Okay, here we
Don't
go.
believe I just want. Hey, Kevin. Leslie is traveling this weekend, so she feels bad that she's not here, and she'll be there Tuesday night.
Traveling.
Yes.
She's traveling.
Be more specific.
It's a mystery.
Okay.
She's musing something.
Okay.
Anyway, she's going to be back, but she'll be at the book signing for Beth, which is Tuesday night, July 24th from 6 to 9 at Helen Thomas, 90 Main Street. Hold that sucker up.
I think Lou had it up there on the screen.
What are you going to wear?
Oh, I have a cute little dress.
Your dress
that
was
colorful.
awesome the other night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That, you know, I had that in my closet and I had forgotten all
Crazy.
about
With
it.
those shoes?
And I pulled out some shoes that I actually bought in Italy and wanted to kind of highlight those. But the dress that I'm wearing Tuesday night is colorful and fun.
I think mine will be too.
Great.
It depends if I'm bloated or
too.
not.
Okay.
All right.
I think mine's good whether I'm bloated or not.
So Beth did not wear sneakers one day, and she wore flip-flops, and she hiked and traveled and had something happen with her leg, which I'm not going to give away. But on the trip, she thought she had gout. Do you know that Bill got gout this year?
Stop it.
No. He walked in the house. That's why
I'm not even really sure what gout is.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Okay.
How could you possibly have gout?
Well, because she thought she was drinking and eating
All
so
I know
much.
is gout has something to do with your toes, right?
It
Well,
hits the
that's-
feet.
Right.
Where it's most likely
common.
to show up.
So that's where I was experiencing some significant pain that was inexplicable.
Okay.
And it was weird. It wasn't just, oh, my foot hurts.
You went right to gout.
She went right to the gout.
I don't know.
Okay.
So
I tend to jump to conclusions.
I had lupus the other day and it's all gone. So I'm with you with that.
See, that I'd buy.
So Bill comes home one day. Well, his toe had been hurting a couple of days in a row, and my toe. He comes home one day and he opens the door in the winter. He says, I got a bout with the gout. He says. I said, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Take your shoe off. His toe. It
swollen?
looked so painful. You couldn't even put a sheet on it. I go, get your butt at the walk-in right now. It closes
Right.
in a half hour. He had gout.
Oh, no.
It's you know who gets gout too? Pete Peterson.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he gets the gout. Sorry, Pete, but I'm just sharing. It's
Pete gets outed.
How do they
it's
determine blood work?
crystallized
A protein, isn't it?
Urine.
High levels of protein?
Uric acid.
uric acid.
Oh, but caused by high levels of protein in your diet.
High levels of everything, yeah.
Yeah. And Bill, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of seafood, and probably we're eating lobster every night.
Yeah.
But I mean, he drinks beer, but like seriously, he doesn't come home and have 4 beers.
I think it's also just a rich diet, like lots of cheeses, lots of red meat.
He's a rich diet. He's like, can I
Right.
have a steak with this whole jar of condiments?
Listen, I thought I had the gout.
I was
so
dying.
I did a little research.
Because you were eating and drinking fabulously.
That was the other thing. I'm like, I've overindulged.
Yeah.
That's what gout is. Yes.
She's hopping around in the middle of the night thinking she got the gout.
I'm like, Tony,
One of
I
these
have
chaps.
gout. He's like, take some Advil.
Now, they had an anchor that dropped. They drop the anchor every morning here on her boat at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Did
Not a
you?
boat, it's a ship.
A ship.
Yeah.
It wasn't a dinghy. It was a, did you ever think of changing rooms?
That was my immediate reaction.
Okay, like a hotel
was
room.
panic. This was really disturbing that first day, and of course we were tired.
So you're
from-
near the bow and near the anchor drop.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Is
it
the
goes,
bow the front?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Okay.
goes on for a really long period of time. Bizarre. It'll stop, it'll start over again. Very loud, very obnoxious, I think is the word I used
Almost
to describe. That and clank, 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 clank. And I mean, it was just...
She got the anchor going. She's hopping around
It was
with
just
gout.
offensive to my ears.
Yes.
I was just like, what is going on? So that first day,
I would warn you.
it would have been nice to say, with this particular room, be warned that you
Yes.
might be awakened to these loud noises. I just want you to be aware. No one's ever mentioned anything. So I did wake up. Tony and I were somewhat disturbed. We didn't know if the girls noticed it, but they did.
Yeah.
They were okay. They weren't panicked over it, but I kind of was.
They didn't come running out of the room going, "What
They
is
didn't
this?"
come running out of the room, but they
Wow.
commented the next day, what the H was that noise?
Good for them.
My poor girls. We let them swear.
Yeah. I taught them.
So I thought, oh gosh, I said, Tony, this was bad. If this is going to be what happens
what do
every
we
time we
do?
roll into port, we're going to have some problems. And he looks at me, he's like,
This marriage isn't going to work.
Right. He's like, what are you suggesting? He's like, what do you propose we do? What
do you
I said,
propose we do?
Divorce.
maybe we should call. He's like, call who?
I would have called someone. I'm a caller.
And I said, do you
Call the
think,
captain.
He's like, I said, do you think we could
Captain
change rooms?
Sterling.
He's like, it's a cruise ship and it's booked. He's like, there's no changing rooms. But
See, I would have asked.
right,
It's like a hotel. You know they got another room.
right. Well, that's what I thought.
Well,
but I don't know that's true.
A, they don't, but B, maybe you could get a discount.
Right,
Right.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Anchor noise.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll let you go to the story to figure out how we dealt with it.
Yeah. But was your sister like in the next room over?
She
Or were
was
they
on the
different?
other side, completely opposite cabin of ours. So same setup, opposite side.
What do you mean opposite side of the boat?
So like we would actually cross the ship entirely to get to her room, but it was down the hall. But and
Okay.
we're at the bow. Don't forget.
Yep.
So it's narrower at points.
Okay.
So we would just go down the hall.
So that was
Port or
fine.
starboard?
Oh gosh, don't make me answer that low.
She was starboard.
Yeah, I should just answer one or the
Yeah,
other.
right.
Yeah, I was port.
I was starboard. I was both.
No
Yeah.
one's going to check.
And I have to ask her. I don't recall.
Did
having
you
the same issue.
was the distance perfect? Would you have
Perfect.
rather her been right next
Perfect.
door?
My parents were right next door.
Good.
They actually had an adjoining room, and it was perfect so that on the nights that my sister and my brother-in-law and Tony and I went out, we would just open up the door. The kids were asleep, but my parents had access. That was ideal.
I know.
That was really
and
nice.
did you have TV? You just chose not to watch it?
I think we had some sort of ship, network.
Some kind of shit.
I think we could watch movies, and you know
some
what?
kind
I'm
of thing.
honestly, I'm not drawn to movie watching. I like my shows.
I know.
But if we had enough energy to sit and watch a movie, I'd have been shocked.
And wouldn't you feel weird? It's like I've got this whole boat,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be like this.
Yeah.
60 minutes is on,
Exactly.
but we're in Greece.
By the time we got to our room every single night,
Done.
Our heads hit the pillow and we were exhausted. That's the only time in my life it takes me at least an hour to fall asleep. Not on this cruise.
Really?
Yeah.
That helped.
That was nice.
So the Hawaii trip, lessons learned from this. Are you going to train for this? And you've got there's the time shift, there's jet lag,
Yes.
there's all kinds of things.
Yes.
Are you going to be better equipped to deal with some of these things?
I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have put my 2 cents in, and although I didn't do much of the planning for the Mediterranean trip, I don't want to do a cruise. We've done subsequent cruises.
Yeah, you just want to hop to island
I
to
want to
island.
go and get a little bit more into
Right.
the culture
Yes.
of wherever we go. So I would like to avoid the cruise. I think they're great, and I will do another one. I just don't want to do it this time.
Yes.
Right.
So I like having my feet on the ground.
And you didn't mind, like, I'm a little nervous of like you are of planes. I don't want to be on a boat.
It's so funny. I don't have that same fear.
I don't want to be on a boat.
It's so weird, but you're not the first person to say that to me. And again, I talk about it in the book. At the time that we were going, there was that big Italian cruise ship crash that was pretty significant.
Yep.
And they lost a lot of lives. I just didn't, it didn't, connect
You
with
were
me.
like, I'm going to be fine.
I'll be fine. I can
That's
swim.
what's not going to get you on a boat.
I know that's crazy,
I
but
know.
in my mind.
The boat's not going to sink. That's not your biggest worry.
The Titanic. I can't get that out of my head.
No.
Food
I do
poisoning and viral. That's your
That
biggest worry.
I don't like that either.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what. Do you think that's more in the winter or could be hit anytime?
Anytime.
anytime.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh my God. What has changed in your life? Do you think because of that trip? Are you conscious of any changes? Food,
I think I did try to reduce the amount of processed foods that we eat. That food was incredible.
The gout will do that to you.
When you experience gout, you know you have to change your diet. No,
Yes.
I've always lived by a slightly Mediterranean diet
I
because that's
know.
what I grew up on. My parents are Greek and Italian. So, but I did try to reduce the amount of packaged foods we have in the house and processed foods. I have a lot still, but
Can't help
I
it.
think it's improved. There are certain things that I said, okay, no more of this, no more of that.
Right.
You know, one of the weird things that I got away from is American cheese. I no longer bring in
Really?
American cheese. I bring in provolone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's any better than American, but in my mind,
Yeah.
it's a better product.
mozzarella.
It's a better cheese product.
So you had great food growing up.
We eat some good food. My mother's a wonderful cook, and there was a period of time that my dad did a lot of cooking too. And they treat food differently. You know,
They're passionate about
Yeah.
it. What was your best meal on the trip? Do you remember?
Oh gosh. I know my sister's best meal, which was that hilarious dinner that we had together, and she got a Chateaubriand, and it was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Is that steak?
It's
I'm
it was
like, I don't know.
phyllo wrapped. Yeah. Beef.
Okay.
That's the best thing
cut of
about
beef.
a cruise, is the food.
The food, it was phenomenal. I don't remember oh, wait a minute. I take that back. But the best meal was no doubt when we were in, I think it was Sorrento, and we had the tour guide Domenico take
the
us up
deck?
to the roof deck.
Yes, restaurant.
The food there was so incredible, but it was all bites. It was more like
A tapas.
It was more tapas.
Oh, which
style.
is my style.
And it was like, here's a little plate of fresh mozzarella and some olives, and here's a plate of prosciutto. And and I think we ended up with pasta dishes, ravioli, and at the end they served us limoncello, and I'm like, oh God. I don't know that I've ever been so
I mean-
full in my life.
I think Bill would. I think Bill would just capsize. I would be afraid for Bill on a cruise.
Yeah.
because he loves to eat he's like a salad. He's just like
Right.
I would be afraid for him.
You know, it's a lot. It's hard. I mean, there is food everywhere.
Everywhere.
And you can get to
Everywhere,
it
24/7.
at any time.
Really,
There's always an open cafe at any time of
and
night.
it's all expenses paid.
Right.
You've already paid, so you go and you just swipe your card.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Out of
you
control.
Know,
From a food standpoint, cruises are just out of control.
yeah.
And you
Did you get the Baked Alaska parade?
Did we do that? I don't believe we did that. I think one of us may have done the Cherries Jubilee.
No, usually, well, I don't know if they still do it anymore. On cruises, they'd come out one night, one of the big dinners, and they'd dim the lights, and all the kitchen crew would come out with a Bake Alaska.
Oh, no, we didn't
and
have
they'd just
that.
share it to everybody. Yeah.
We didn't have that.
So you've
one.
been on a cruise?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Yeah, we've done some Caribbean cruises, and we've done the cruise from Boston to Bermuda twice. Mm-hmm.
I'd love to do an Alaskan cruise. That's what
I would love to do that. My sister did that, and it was
Did you
incredible.
like the one to Bermuda?
I didn't mind it. It was great, and you know what I loved about it? I just got on the boat and went. There's no plane.
Oh yeah.
So it was nice to get away. I do like Bermuda. We had some really great times there.
Oh, you went
but
out of Boston?
we went out of Boston, and we also went out of New York.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So you just drove, got on a boat.
Well, the New York one was the default trip when I canceled our second European
right.
vacation. So.
Was everyone like wah wah?
a little bit.
Wah, wah.
It was a little bit of a disappointment, but I wasn't going to Europe at that time.
Oh. Well, we are so excited that we got to have Beth again.
Thank you.
It was very hard to do a second, third, fourth show with Beth
Okay.
because she's traveling so much, signing books.
Oh.
We're going to be outside of Eagle Radio this week. We could do a little signing.
There it is, Lou.
How
We
fun
can
would
do one
that be?
here.
But please pick up Musing Mediterranean. It's on Amazon. You have to read all the fabulous reviews that are already out. And come Tuesday night at Helen Thomas for her book signing. Anyone who's watched us and wants to meet us, and anyone who knows
That's a
us.
store on Main Street in Andover, just so people know.
Yeah, it's a store. Helen Thomas is a store. It's not a person.
That's right. Right.
And it has amazing gifts. So you
does.
might end up
Great
buying
stuff.
something. There's going to be great artisans there showing their
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
I'll be there with some travel tips and just hanging with Beth while she signs. I'm going to be trying to just keep up with the books and like giving them to her. So please
Fingers
come.
crossed. I
Please
would love
come
it.
from 6 to 9 and check out Beth's blog, 3 Olives and a Twist, which is always a fabulous read. And thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
you're welcome.
And anybody that gets the book and reads it, please put up an Amazon review. It really helps.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you all. Thanks, Lou.
Thanks, Lou.